Capricorn, this is your April 2024 soul story. If you have a sun, rising or moon in the sign, you might find some of these messages resonate for you as you make your way through April. It's Romy. Thank you so much for joining me on the channel. We are going to open up this month with the energy of the Lovers. Things are very close to home this month and everything takes on a little bit of a different perspective. You are feeling into a bit of an urgency around April, but there is a requirement to pace yourself, and you would do well to just make sure you temper your experiences, more time out and balancing just how much you're investing energy-wise into situations will ensure that you can go the distance in April, because astrologically there's definitely an intensity playing out in the skies. There's also a feeling of somewhat frustration rising as we see Mercury stationing retrograde from the first of the month in the fire sign of Aries. You have a dynamic playing out where communication is key. And it may feel like it falters initially at the beginning of the month, and there's something contained within that you know, you're going to be self-directing a lot of like, oh, did I not do the right thing, or did I not present this in the right way, or how can I articulate or express this better? And it really isn't about what you should or shouldn't do. It's about sort of some of the energy needing to clear, and us allowing some of these much bigger trajectory shifts that are going to be in flux as a result of the total solar eclipse, of course, coming in on the 8th, and indeed the Jupiter conjunct Uranus in Taurus, back seen in 1941. So these two events just by themselves are going to be enough to bring about major revelations and much more news and information coming to light that, you know, it is going to serve you, it's going to help you, although it might come in a little bit disruptively. I think that there is this sense of you seeing things wildly differently as you move through the month, and that might in and of itself help you to feel better about that somewhat chaotic beginning to April. Your Fool comes in, two beautiful majors showing up for you in the beginning of the month, Capricorn, to say, you know, we're ready to break free and sort of initiate something different here, a type of experience that you feel much more in resonance and harmony with. And you are going to be asking yourself, I think, the question throughout April of what's the cost? Because as more things come to light, and I don't just mean like the financial cost, yeah, like what will this cost me in terms of energy, emotion, time? You know, where is the compromise or the sacrifice? And, you know, I think that kind of curiosity of asking better questions is going to lead you to much more interesting answers in April. There's a very sort of unfiltered experience, I think, that's going to make for some very interesting realizations for you. And, you know, as we approach that solar eclipse on the 8th of the month, there's definitely a dynamic that could be shifting and changing close to home for you. So there might be a sense of needing to handle or deal with some kind of upsetting dynamic. It just feels like, I don't know, the emotions can get a little bit out of hand in and around that time. You may even be feeling into slight regret around something. Being able to nurture yourself through this is going to be really important. Sometimes you feel like you're in the middle of nowhere, you know, like it's like the old ways no longer make sense. The new perspectives are not fully formed. And in this sort of void-like space, we can often go back to previous experiences that are, you know, reminding us of disappointments and setbacks and regret that we might have. At the same point, though, I want you to remember, like, you know, the Five of Cups always talks about like the two remaining cups standing. Okay, so this void, this space that you might find yourself in through the month of April, especially through the revelationary nature of that total solar eclipse, says, you know, I hold the energy of everything that is about to come into your world. Yeah, all of that creator energy is just sitting there ripe and ready to become and be directed. and fated into your pathways. And there's something about the magic of that I think if you can allow yourself, you're going to be reminded very strongly of how quickly things can change. And that's one of the other themes I really want you to pay attention to through the month of April, Capricorn, because it is likely that nothing is kind of set in stone. And, you know, even when situations arise that may feel a little bit more uncomfortable or not necessarily moving in the direction that you'd anticipated, and we can very quickly judge that and start to, you know, perhaps feel into some doubt, some anxiety, some stress around that. It shifts on its axis again and again and again. So it's almost one of these months where just kind of sit back and let it all play out, because as you move in to the month, you know, you're going to change significantly. Situations are going to change. By the time you get to the end of April, it won't look or feel anything like what it did in the beginning. And so if you'd already made your mind up as to what it meant for you and put yourself through unnecessary stress in the consideration of that, then, you know, this is the message to say just a little bit of a wait and see, because everything is so powerfully coming through with those surprise events and situations. Now you've got the Page of Swords coming up, a key conversation, news and information traveling towards you. Remember, Mercury retrograde does bring pieces back from the past, and so, you know, there might be something fundamentally important that is meant to form part of what the next step is, the next step that you're about to make, and also something that I think can help you with a sense of independence or a sense of being able to do something or accomplish something for the self. You know, this is what we're focused on, that I am energy in Aries. And the Fool tells me that you're very keen and you're looking towards something that you want to complete or you want to initiate, you want to activate in this month. And I think that conversation, news, messages is going to support you. When we look back in order to try to make sense of something, it can still feel a little bit bittersweet. And so there's all sorts of like memories that get kind of churned up in the reality of that. And it might make you want to act very impulsively or very decisively, either to move away from an experience or to try to run back towards something. That's where we're just urging a little bit of caution. And as we make our way deeper into the month and we arrive at this major event with Jupiter and Uranus, there's set to be some bigger surprises that come through. We've got the King of Wands showing up for you here. I like his creativity, his ingenuity, his confidence and courage. And I think that it's all of these energies that you can draw upon around that time to look at whatever is, you know, revealing itself to you. And remember, it's a bit of a roller coaster. There's a lot of impact on our financial energies with Jupiter and Uranus still in the energy of Taurus. So, you know, if you're experiencing some flux, what I will say here is you're going to find ideas and creative solutions to things that might surprise you. And so sometimes, you know, we have to kind of be disrupted out of a pattern that isn't serving us. That in itself might cause an initial setback or disappointment, but again, you quickly regain, and then there seems to be some sort of silver lining to situations as well. So keep this in mind as you move through the month. It's also important to remember, like, the next day, the asteroid goddess Juno, who rules the 7th house of partnerships, agreements, contracts, direct in Virgo. And, you know, since the 12th of January with her retrograde, we've been poring over the details of those agreements and kind of feeling less than satisfied about many aspects of it. And, you know, with the intensity we've gone through in our evaluation around relationships, you've probably come to some pretty clear conclusions, Capricorn, about what will no longer suffice, and whether this is coming in from a more legal perspective in terms of renewal of agreements, commitments, contracts, or more close to home in your personal relationships. Now Juno stations direct, you have an opportunity to table and negotiate better terms. So keep that in mind. Your King of Wands is going to give you some bolshy moves to make, and I think they can pay off. This is a month where we have big trajectory shifts, right? So it's like snakes and ladders. You can move 2 or 3 like levels up, and that's about your bravery and your belief and your vision and your faith. And if you kind of bring that heart energy through and you communicate it with focus and vision, I think you can be incredibly pleased with what the potential outcome of any negotiation or terms can be for you, even if what initially happens seems to be less desirable. It's like your counter offer, or what you come back with, puts you back in the game, or puts you back in a place of feeling more stable, more confident, more comfortable, more confident. Okay. We then have this full moon in Scorpio arriving on the 23rd of the month. And the truth out's around this time. And you've got plans that you're making here. Maybe it's a time to share and start communicating those plans. That said, you know, we still have this slight lost in translation energy around Mercury. So holding off wouldn't necessarily be a bad idea for you, but there's a sort of magnetism and an energy that's building and gathering around what you're considering and thinking about. And I think there seems to be like two things on the go at the moment. There's what needs to be addressed and dealt with in the month of April, and you'll take some very decisive action in the direction of that. And I think as you move toward the end of April, you'll see big sort of thermal uplifts for that, and you know, that kind of feels like the waves carrying you a little bit, so you're going to feel much more positive about the progress of something. But there's also that plan that it's like it is all in around the timing, and something's been born and kind of seeded in this month of April, but you're adding to it with absolute intentionality and focus and vision. And I think it's come as a result of something that, you know, was a bit bitter for you. There was some regret, there's some upset, something that's happened, and it's left you feeling, okay, that felt like a failure or a rejection or an upset, but I'm going to take that situation and I'm turning it around. And, you know, what comes from that is what's really shaping your tenacity, your inner strength, your will, your resolve. And that's going to go a long way. Like, it just feels like this unfiltered energy of April helps you to be super honest and truthful with yourself, because the revelations that keep coming, you know, are giving things new context for you and bringing things to light that you hadn't anticipated. So in and around that moon, definitely a magnetic time to be able to initiate, to present, to express, to talk. But moons are also about, full moons, about the clearance and the letting go. So in the same moment, you know, you're definitely going to let go of something. And I feel like with that, you're going to be surprised at how much you free up as a result of it. You're perhaps not fully aware the degree of that energy has been, you know, holding a burden over you in some way, shape or form. So whether it's a belief that you're holding or something more physical that you've been involved in or, you know, had to take on. And it seems to be the right month to just say, okay, I'm stripping back, simplifying, clearing out. You know, I need to make more room and more space in my life. And you'll feel the effects of that immediately. Like, it literally feels like by the end of April, there's this huge sense of relief that's coming through in your energy field for me this month. And I think that you carry that forward with gusto, and what gets replaced is something much more exciting. It just feels like it's been waiting in the wings forever. You're like, now is the time for me to be able to do this, or, you know, go after this or become this. And I really love that for you. So if you're new to the channel, our last 3 cards we cover in the extended reading, Capricorn. We talk for another 30 minutes or so. We'll look at a personal card and a relationship card for you. You'll find the link in the comments section beneath. It's a way to support my work. So thank you if you're resonating and wish to invest, and join me there. I'm going to go ahead and clarify the read and see the direction we'll take this for you. Now, this month I've created in the Soul Journeys a journey to elevate your prosperity consciousness. We're also going to work with Juno, the asteroid goddess, and see how you can better harness her directive. And you'll find that along with all my sacred titles, my oracle deck and my book, ways to work with me, and all the YouTube links on romywiser.com. Okay, we've got Queen of Swords, Knight of Cups coming in here. What about this 5? What's showing up? The Star, beautiful. And the Well. Let's pull one more there. Page of Pentacles. You really have the capacity to turn situations around. Not only you, but like fate is turning situations around for you. So, you know, it is definitely this, like, don't, I know it will be tempting, but don't rush in too quickly, because you could perhaps save your energy, you know, with a wave that would already carry you to the shore anyway without you struggling to swim or, you know, find the means necessary to get yourself where you need to be. Okay, all the decks I use are always listed below. I like that Magician along with the King of Wands. I just feel like you're tapping into something that, you know, regardless of where you find yourself, especially if you find yourself in a bit of a jam, a bit of a fix, like this is definitely working in your favor to say like you're gonna know what to do and how to do it at the time you need. Okay, let's have a look at the Life Soul Vision Oracle, which is my own deck, so you can find this over on the website if you're new to my channel. We've got solar plexus, throat energy, the chakras coming through for you, and nourish your inner wealth, rise in love, detours from the divine. We've got sacred soul union. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and pull an additional couple of oracles for Capricorn for April. Brilliant beliefs, luminous life force, personal power. I love that card. Okay, we'll explore the message in the extended, and then finally an astrology card for Capricorn. We've got the energy of opposition with confrontation coming through. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you'll continue on the extended with me. I wish you a beautiful month of April, and I will see you again next time. Bye for now.